Hello, students. So, this is our new chapter that is Human Body Respiratory System. So, our previous chapter was Digestive System, where we learned that how the digestion takes place, means how the food breaks down into simpler soluble substances. So, there is a relation in both digestion and respiration. As we know that the food that we eat provide us energy because the energy is stored in it. And we also know that glucose is the main source in providing us energy. So, the process by which food molecules, that is glucose, is broken down in the body cells to release energy is called respiration. So, we can say that respiration is the process which help us to provide us energy through the food that we eat. So, do you know in what form we get this energy? This energy is stored in mitochondria as a special molecule called ATP. Full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That is also called energy currency of the cell. So, when our body needs energy to perform various activities that we do in our daily life, this ATP molecule is used to supply energy. So, during this process, some waste products are also produced and are removed from our body. They are carbon dioxide and water. So, this process of respiration requires a series of enzyme controlled reaction. These enzymatic reactions actually begin in the cytoplasm, but most of the reactions occur in the mitochondria. So, respiration can be represented by the following word equation as you can see in the screen. It is glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So, the respiration are of two types, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So, from the term only, you can understand that aerobic respiration means when the oxygen is required for breaking down food. Means the respiration that occur in presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration. Next is anaerobic respiration that occur in absence of oxygen. So in this case, what forms? Glucose breakdown in absence of oxygen, which produces lactic acid and releases energy, but less energy. So when this lactic acid formation takes place, when we do some heavy workout or when we exercise or we run, our muscles sometimes respire anaerobically for a short period. Means it mainly occurs when there is a shortage of oxygen. So that time glucose converted into lactic acid in muscles and this causes muscle fatigue. Even some bacteria and yeast also respire anaerobically. Now let's move to the next topic, that is parts of the human respiratory system. So there are various organs that are involved in respiration. So at first the air enters through our nose, then to the pharynx, then it passes through trachea, bronchi and bronchioles, finally into the lungs. So air enters the body through the nose, which has two openings called nostrils, and it contains hair to filter air entering into it. Even the mucus also secrete that trap germs and dust particles that enters the nose during breathing. Next is pharynx. So pharynx is the common passage through which the air also passes as well as food. Then it just divides into two tubes. The first is trachea, also called windpipe, in the front, and the next one at the back is the esophagus, that is food pipe. Now the question is, if pharynx is the common passage for both food and air, then why don't the food enter into our windpipe? Because of the presence of epiglottis. It is a flap-like structure that guard the entry of the esophagus and the trachea. And this only prevents the food from entering the trachea by closing it while we are swallowing food. Next part is trachea. So this trachea runs down the neck region and above it is a small tube-like structure called larynx, or we also call it voice box. So it has vocal cord to produce sound. So this trachea connects this larynx to bronchi. And the wall of the trachea is supported by several C-shaped, like this, cartilaginous ring, as they prevent the trachea from collapsing and allow the air to reach the lungs without any obstruction. Next is bronchi and bronchioles. So this trachea that contain C-shaped cartilaginous ring divides into two tubes called bronchi. So these are bronchi, which leads to the left and the right lungs respectively, and each bronchus further divides into many branches. They are called bronchioles, and the bronchioles end in minute air sacs. They are called alveoli. The next topic is lungs. So lungs are what? They are a pair of spongy organs that are located within the chest cavity close to the heart, and they are divided in the form of lobes. So the right lung is three-lobed and the left lung is two-lobed. A two-layered fluid-filled membrane called pleura protects and allows each lung to expand and relax smoothly during breathing. So the lungs are protected from damage by the bony rib cage, and they are also supported by a muscular sheet called diaphragm. Lungs exchange of gases takes place by diffusion. The lungs expand when filled with air and reduce in size when air is expelled. The next one is breathing. So the process by which air is taken in or inhaled and given out or exhaled of the body through nostrils is called breathing. So it involves two mechanisms, that is inhalation or breathing in and exhalation or breathing out. So the process by which air rich in oxygen enters the lung through the nose is called inhalation. So when we inhale, the rib cage moves upward and outward. The diaphragm moves downwards and flatten, as because it increases the volume of the chest cavity. It gives more space to the air that enters into our body. The expansion of lungs results in the oxygen-rich air enters or rushes into the lungs through nostrils. Next is exhalation, means the process by which air rich in carbon dioxide rushes out of the lungs through nostril. So in this process, the opposite thing happen. The changes that take place during exhalation are rib cage moves downward and inward, the diaphragm arches up acquiring a dome shape, and the volume of the chest cavity decreases. Even the lungs reduce in size, due to which there is rise in air pressure inside the lungs, and the air rich in carbon dioxide is forced to move out from the lungs through the nostrils. That's it for today. On the next video, we will start from exchange of respiratory gases. We will see the differences between breathing and respiration, and we will learn about different respiratory diseases and also the effect of air pollution on respiratory system.